Here we go. I hope we're alive. Hey guys. Hey. So I'm gonna wait a little bit, and I want to talk about muzzle and muzzle work today. So there's this huge there's this huge trend today about muzzle work. I have many people talking about muzzle work. Guys, people actually texted me and say, "Hey Leo, when I come to your class, are we gonna do muzzle work?" So a lot of people believe that muzzle work is something that should be done and needs to be done with biting dogs, and they believe that muzzle work will solve a lot of problems with that. So that's what I want to walk today. I want to talk about muzzle work and how I believe it's one of the most misunderstood tools in the biting work lately. So I had a guy just from a different agency just recently came to me. We were doing some training, and he goes like, "Hey Leo, when my dog finds you, I want you to give him a bite." So he gave me a sleeve. By the way, guys, whoever is using still sleeve today, either think about improving your skills or retire. Sleeve is not where it is for law enforcement. Anyway, go back to my story. So this guy tells me, "Leo, so when my dog finds you, give him the bite on the sleeve." His dog found me, and I gave him a bite. That bite was horrible. The dog was holding me by his front teeth. He was he had a fear in his eyes. He was looking at me, fearful, and his entire body was showing me that he doesn't want to be there. Anyway, so as soon as the guy showed up, dog outed. If we were, talking about outing, that was A plus. Except the dog has never helped me, which I believe it's a problem for law enforcement. And so anyway, so later I asked him. I say, hey man, do you want me to help you a little bit with that bite, because it was horrible. And there's no way that if I put any pressure on the dog would still be there. The dog would probably run back to daddy, and I would be gone. Anyway, so he told me, he goes like, "No man, I think the bite is good. I just need to do more muzzle work." And it kind of struck me, and I actually didn't even know what to say. So I just want to talk a little bit, real quick about the muzzle work. Guys, muzzle work is if you using muzzle work in the biting, muzzle work is the ultimate tool, the highest level of pressure on a dog if you use it properly. If not, it's just toy that ruins your dog and doesn't give you really any information, doesn't give him any information. So how is it test tool? If you use it properly and you build your dog properly, you put the muzzle on the dog, you send him on a decoy, but the decoy, it has no equipment, right? But the decoy must act the same way as criminal or suspect would act. So that means he has to put the pressure back on the dog. He has to keep fighting. He has to be kicking the dog. Everything that you would do as a person, that dog tries to attack you. Don't take it out of context and pretend that this is not real life. No, on the contrary, you have to pretend this is real life. So if you do that, and as you as a suspect or a decoy, or you have to put the pressure back on a dog like you would in real life. And that's where it comes. That's where you select, or when you test if the dog has the heart and the mental preparedness for pressure like this. So that's what muzzle is for in a training like this. You see a lot of trainings today that people put a muzzle on. Hey, I just want to see if he would bite the guy without a muzzle. Well, that's why we have hidden sleeves. That's why we have hidden suits, all that stuff. But if you have a dog that doesn't have developed mind and heart and bite and biting technique, the muzzle will not fix it. The muzzle will not teach your dog to bite deeper. The muzzle will not teach your dog to bite harder. The muzzle will not teach the dog to go after the guy if the guy is putting pressure back. So again, you have to understand the muzzle as an ultimate testing tool, not as a building tool. Because if you didn't develop until now strong heart, biting technique, and proper drive in that dog, the muzzle will definitely not help you with that. So understand muzzle only as a testing tool, not as a building tool. So that being said, when we talk about building a dog on biting, you have to understand 4 basic things. So a lot of people say, I'm building a fight drive. Well, what is actually fight drive? Fight drive is made out of 4 things. Prey drive, some people call it hunt drive, which is the same thing. Then you have to understand natural aggression, which is dominant aggression. That's the aggression when, like Conor McGregor comes to the bar and he's already looking who he's gonna beat up, right? Hopefully there'll be someone else than just old guys. But so that's a natural aggression, and then you have fear aggression. And people, you have to understand that every dog, however badass he is, will have certain percentage of a fear aggression in him as well. Whether it's 2%, 20%, 60%, 80%, it will be there. Okay, so you have to understand it is there, you have to recognize it, and you have to work with it. Because I don't care how badass how badass dog you have, at some point in the fight, he will start feeling fatigue. He will start feeling that there's a lack of oxygen. He will start feeling that when he's biting you, it doesn't give him the right response that he would like to see. And that all transferred into a fear aggression. That means the dog gets fired up even more, and he starts fighting now out of self-preservation to save his life, because that guy that he's fighting is a little stronger than he thought he is. And the fourth and probably most important thing is that you have to understand the nervous system, slow nervous system, fast nervous system, how sensitive to stimuli the nervous system is. And that's a huge difference between German Shepherd, Mal, and then you have Super Mal, which is a Malinois with a helicopter in the head. All these things you have to understand when you build in a dog on bite. So once again, prey drive, or somebody calls it hunt drive, dominant aggression, we call it natural aggression, fear aggression, or you can call it self-preservation aggression, and you have to understand the nervous system. Once you understand all these 4 things, then you're able to see it in a dog on a bite work. Because I promise you, all these 4 things are there, and some people just call it fight drive, which is wrong. Because if you call it fight drive and you don't understand those are 4 different elements, that you cannot effectively change the behavior, because you don't actually know which of those 4 you activating right now. That's why there's a huge trouble with wrong using of a whip. Okay, whip is to activate the nervous system. If you are working with a dog that's already high in the nervous system and you using the whip, all you're doing is those nerves are overbeating everything else that you need to have. That's why you see dogs that cracking the whip, they're super crazy, and then all of a sudden they come to the decoy. Oh, what am I supposed to do? Because you have increased to almost 100% out of those 4 that you need to have. You only have 1, which is a super crazy nervous system. But rest of those 3 that you need to have for effective warrior are not there. So that's why it's important. You have dogs that biting out of fear, and then again, guys, biting out of fear doesn't mean the dog tucks tail and runs away. Biting out of fear also means that you have a observation distance when the decoy is 20 yards away. The dog already doesn't feel comfortable with that, and he displays aggressive behavior, barking. The dog looks like a true badass. But the second he comes to the decoy, he bites on the front teeth, pulls away, and showing you that he doesn't really care for any true conflict or confrontation. He doesn't really care for true hands-on stuff. So again, you have to see how many percentage of every which one of those 4 elements I just told you about in order to change the heart and the mind of the dog. You have to be working with all these 4 and take it apart. If dog has too much fear aggression, you have to know how to turn it into a natural aggression, dominant aggression. You have to understand how much prey drive is good, and if too much prey drive is not good for police work. All these things. If you understand this, you really can build a dog for anything, whether it's street, law enforcement, whether it's sport, or anything else. Once you understand all these 4 elements, you will dominate the discipline of biting. But once again, guys, this was about Muzzle. Muzzle will not build your dog. Muzzle is a tool to test him. But you have to understand when to test him, and you have to understand how to build him first. So hopefully this is gonna help. If it does, please give me some feedback, guys. And if you think otherwise, hit me up. Tell me why you think so. I would definitely love to talk about it, and hopefully this will help you somehow. Keep up the good work, guys, and coming back next week with another topic. Thank you.